And we're back for encounters 5 to 8 on level 3 of the Spire. Pretty much the whole level 3 follows the same setup. The first 3 encounters in the groups of 4 are 6 good encounters or 2 wave in terms of the fighting. With the gate encounter, the 4th, 8th, 12th. Encounters are 7 good encounters and 3 wave. For fighting, the only exception is the final Spire boss. It is also a 3 wave encounter, but it also is 8 good encounter, and yeah, both amounts of goods and squad sizes are pretty significant. Anyway, so again, the setup for 5 to 8 is pretty much the same as to 1 to 4. So let's just jump into fighting. Alright, okay, that's possible. That is definitely possible. Alright, this is pretty good actually, and these are not so good. Right, so let's see, this one is pretty good. This one is also pretty good. This one is less good because there's mostly comparables, heavy range versus heavy range, so let's focus on these two. And actually both options look pretty good. So for mages, so what is going for us is we have 4 weak units and only 1 counter unit in both encounters, and we have plus 50 damage for mages. So that's great. On the other hand, for heavy melee, we have really no counter units here. We have 4 weak units here, 1 comparable. And here we have the same. 4 weak unit, 1 comparable. So in this case, I am actually inclined, yeah, and we have a lot of heavier range as an opponent. I'm inclined to go just Valorian champions. This, despite heavy melee, which I genuinely don't like because they're very slow, very low range, they can take a punishment. So even if encounter looks pretty shaky, you throw some Valorians in there and they actually tend to survive even the pretty shabby encounters, and this actually looks pretty good. So, but again, both options would be pretty decent. Yeah, just in this case we'll have to go with Banshees. So basically the 5 Banshees or 5 Valorians, so let's just go with Valorians this time. Alright. And as you can see, pretty good. And the second wave is not too shabby either. So a good result. Let's keep going. Another 3 catalysts, nice. Alright. What do we have here? Okay, maybe. Again, pretty good, very similar to the last one. Same? No, no. And okay, less good, still pretty good, and yeah, not as good. Okay, again, in this case, it's actually fairly... the setup is very similar to the previous one, except the second encounter, we have more light melee, which is fine for the heavy melee on our side, but less good for mages. So yeah, heavy melee works perfect here. We have no weaknesses against that, and that's gonna be again Valorian champions. Pretty much I found that as far as heavy melee is concerned, I almost never, especially in the Spire, almost never use any other unit types. a heavy melee except Valorians. I literally never use Orc Warriors. I don't know, like I just don't find them to be particularly good. If I have a lot of light melee, I'd rather go Frogs. So I really don't use this one, and this one costs Orcs to produce, so no. And the Trance, like Elder Trance, are pretty good, but also do not really look better than Valorian champions. So yeah, I just go Valorians, especially considering I can produce them for free outside of the lineups in the mercenary camp with Valorian's Valors. So yeah, so no weaknesses here. Let's go. All right, very good, and yep, pretty good results. And that's done. So let's see what we're gonna have in this encounter. Okay, maybe, no, maybe not. So let's focus on the heavy options. So what do we have here? Okay, maybe not ideal, no. Okay, so let's see. So okay, that's the first example when the two waves are kind of not exactly in sync. That's definitely not always the case. Most of the time in our previous encounters so far, our waves were relatively in sync, as in like the good units in wave 1 or good units for wave 2 and 3. Like here, not as much. So this one is decent, again 2 counter units, so not as great. This one is terrible, like literally nothing, so yeah, that's not an option really. So this one is decent, again not perfect. So you have 3 light melee, which actually Valorians are not that great against. They're more heavy range specialists. 1 heavy melee comparable, so that's okay. And then there's 1 mage, which is not great, but only 1, that's okay. But in the second wave we have 1 counter unit mage, and we have 4 comparables, so that's not great. And remember, for heavy melee we don't have boosts. I mean, we don't have specific boosts, like temporary boosts outside of our regular Ancient Wonder health boosts and whatnot. So there's that. So the second wave is pretty good for mages, but the first one is, yeah, it's not looking good, right? Because mages, the thing with mages, if you have too many counter units, they're squishy no matter what. So they can deal a ton of damage, but they can't take the punishment. So, and again, for the first wave, all others are not looking great. Yeah, light range. Light range is fairly universal unit, so I'm sure, especially with damage boost, they can even do okay here. Yeah, you know, that might not be a bad option actually, because the second wave is excellent for light range, and specifically for the Dryads. So that's literally, they're all weak. The first one is less so. So let's see, we have 2 weak, and then what do we have? We have Hellhounds, which are not as great. I mean, technically they're good against light range, but not really. They're mage specialists. And then we have light melee, which are supposed to be good against light range, but again, that's somewhat of a fiction, because our light range will have initiative, will have range, will have extra boost, so they may not make it to deal that damage. And then there's another light melee, which is not excellent against light range to begin with. So that is definitely an option. And then we have light melee, which is kind of doable for the first encounter. So, sorry, for the first wave. Yeah, definitely not good for the second wave, so not really an option. So here, what we have is basically going dreads, which I'm kind of leaning towards, or going with the Valorians again, which would be, we will win this. I have no doubt about that. So this one would be relatively decent. Again, even though they're not that great against light melee, they're still pretty good. There's only one mage. This one will also win. There's also only one mage, but then it's kind of like one-to-one combat versus heavy melee without extra boosts. Not so keen about that. So we would win, but we would probably have more losses than if we just go with the dreads. So yeah, so it's the first one which might be tricky. Okay, let's see how it goes. And as you can see, that's pretty good. So we did take some losses, but in all fairness, it definitely doesn't look as bad as the initial indications were, and we should absolutely crush the second wave. Yep, as you can see, destroyed. Alright, so all things considering, went pretty well. We won our time boosts, and here's our another 3-wave encounter. Yeah, that's not an option. Well, we'll see actually. With 3 waves sometimes you have to make some tough choices, but usually they don't involve even a single encounter where you have no strong or even comparables. So yeah, that's probably not going to be an option. Okay, that might be an option, even though these are just all comparables. That might be a very good option. So again, for wave number 1, so far this wasn't absolutely best. If we can stick with light range, that would absolutely destroy. It's the same encounter, same wave as we had second wave last one. This one, yeah, probably not looking good. Okay, so let's see the second wave. Okay, this one is doable. This one is definitely doable. And this one is not as great, but also doable. Okay, this one is actually pretty good. This one is also pretty good. Yeah, okay, that's where light range is not so good. So, but we still have options here. It seems that, let's see again. Okay, mages would be very good in wave 1. And by mages, I mean in this case, banshees. Sorry, not banshees, of course. That would be blossom princesses in this case. Because heavy melee. The second one would be pretty good for mages. Again, no country units, 1 comparable and 4 weak ones. And 50-50 distribution of heavies. And then the third one is again very good. Unfortunately, in this case, it's all heavy ranged, which Blossom Princess are not as good against as Banshees. But, and again, like over 3 encounters, it's pretty clear that the mages are better in this case than heavy melee that we have here. So the question is, basically the remaining is which mage unit, and again, as I said, like, I'm definitely not using the barracks option being an elf. So we basically have about the same number of, actually, the same number of heavy range and heavy melee here. So overall, yeah, you can go with the mix, you can go each one, it probably doesn't matter all that much. In these cases, I tend to go with the Blossom Princesses. They tend to do better, but we should be doing very well in these encounters with almost, I think actually no counter units. have any country units? No, we have no country units. We have extra boosts. Well, that should be a walk in the park. Let's see. Yep. Just crushed. Yep. Not too bad for 3-wave encounter. How about that? So, yeah, there is that. That's half level 3 done. And we've got 5 2-hour boosts. Now, think about that. So that's half the Spire, sorry, half the 3rd level of the Spire, which we, in all fairness, pretty much cruised through. Our losses so far have been very, very benign. I mean, we still have half the level to go, including the last boss. But even getting to that point with negotiation only, or mostly negotiation, would be already pretty damn expensive. And so far we saved all those goods and we didn't spend really that much in terms of the troops. So yeah, now you can see why fighting, at least level 3, is, yeah, it's a good value. But, well, we'll see about that in the second half of level 3. Will that still hold? We'll find out. I'll see you soon.